and welcome to course on biological model of mental illness. My name is Fasil Petros and I am thrilled to have each of you here. I want to emphasize that this is a supportive and open space for all of us to learn together. We'll be discussing complex and sometimes sensitive topics, but it's important to feel comfortable asking questions, sharing thoughts, and engaging in conversation. Today's lecture is on the biological model of mental illness. In this lecture, we will explore how brain structure, neurotransmitter systems, genetics, and hormone contribute to mental health and mental illness. We'll also touch on how infectious and environmental factors play a role and how these biological elements influence the treatment of psychological disorders. The biological model of mental illness focuses on the idea that mental disorders arise from the biological malfunctions in the brain and nervous system. This model emphasizes three main factors: brain structure, neural communication, and the brain's chemistry. It is also considers how genetic predispositions, hormonal imbalances, and even viral infections can contribute to the onset of mental illness. By understanding these biological underpinnings, we can understand how mental health is affected by our psychology. Let's talk about nervous system communication. The nervous system is responsible for processing and responding to information in our environment. Let's break it down how this works. Now you see on the slide, the picture is from your textbook. Now you see where A is. That's where it starts. Sensory detection. First, the receptor cells in our sensory organs detect stimuli like light or sound. Then it goes through transduction. This sensory information is passed along to the brain via different neurons. Now, if you follow on that picture, the green line with the green arrows, it goes through the peripheral nerve, through the sensory neurons, and through the spine. Now, from the spine, it goes back up to the brain. Now, when it reaches the brain, interpretation begins. Once the sensory information reaches the brain, it's processed and we form a perception of the world around us. Now the response starts. Finally, the brain sends command to the body through different neurons to initiate an appropriate response. Now you see the picture from follow that red line is going back to the spine and through the motor neurons and back to the peripheral nerve, and the motor nerve ends where it's initiated. Now, the entire process is very essential for how we interact with and respond to our environment. Any disturbance in any part of the system can contribute to mental health disorder. Let's discuss the nervous system structure. As you see on the slide, there is a picture that's also from your textbook. It's laid out the nervous system structure. Now, the nervous system structure can be divided into two main parts. The CNS, which we call the central nervous system, includes the brain and spinal cord, which processes and store sensory information. And the other one is the PNS, peripheral nervous system, consists of two main components: the somatic system, which controls voluntary movements and carries sensory information, and the other one is the autonomic system, which regulates involuntary functions like heart rate and digestion. The autonomic system is further divided into two: sympathetic system, which processes the body for fight or flight, and the parasympathetic system, which calms the body down after stress. Now, mind you, understanding the structure of the nervous system helps you to see how disruption in these areas can lead to psychological disorder or affect the mind health. Okay, let's talk about the neuron. Neurons are fundamental building blocks of the nervous system. They are responsible for transmitting signals throughout the body. Let's go over the key structure of neurons. As you see in the picture, this is also in your textbook. You'll see this figure shows you the nerve cell, which is the neuron. And I'll go over each of them so you can follow me by looking at the picture. The soma is the first one, which is also called the cell body. It contains the nucleus, and it's a central processing unit, just like a computer. The dendrites are branch-like extensions that receive signals from other neurons. The axon carries the signal away from the soma to the other neurons. The myelin sheath insulates the axons, allowing far faster transmission of electrical signals. And finally, as you can see at the bottom, the axon terminals release neurotransmitters that carry the signal to the next neuron. Now, as you see, each of these components plays an essential role in the transmission of information. Any disruption in this process can lead to mental disorder. Okay, key neurotransmitters. They play a major role in regulating mental health. Let's start with dopamine. Helps control movement and is linked to brain's reward system. Low levels are associated with conditions like Parkinson's disease and schizophrenia. Serotonin regulates mood, sleep, and appetite, and low levels are commonly linked to depression. Norepinephrine is involved in arousal and stress responses, and imbalances can contribute to anxiety and depression. GABA helps reduce anxiety, and low levels are often linked to, again, anxiety disorder. Endorphins reduce pain and promote feelings of pleasure, often referred to as body's natural feel-good chemicals. Glutamate is essentially for learning and memory, and dysregulation can affect cognitive functions. Okay, here we go. The role of genetics. Genetics plays a major role in mental health, with certain genes influencing brain functions and increasing susceptibility to mental disorder. For example, research has linked certain genes to disorder like autism, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. Twin and family studies suggest that a genetic predisposition for conditions like OCD and borderline personality disorder, showing that the family history can influence risk. However, it's important to remember that environmental factors like stress, trauma, and life experiences also interact with our genetic makeups, influencing the development of mental illness. Hormones also play a crucial role in mental health. For example, cortisol, the stress hormone, is released in response to stress. Chronic high levels of cortisol can lead to anxiety, depression, and memory problems. Melatonin regulates sleep-awake cycles, and imbalances in melatonin levels are linked to seasonal affective disorder, which we call SAD. Thyroid hormones affect energy levels and mood, with imbalances leading to conditions like depression or irritability. The pituitary gland is the master gland that regulates our hormones and has a direct influence on our behaviors, particularly in response to stress and growth. Certain viral infections can also contribute to mental health disorders. For example, the parasite Toxoplasma gondii has been linked into increased risk of schizophrenia. Viruses can alter the brain development and function, potentially leading to both neurological and psychiatric conditions. While these are an emerging area of research, it's highlighted low biological factors, including infections, can influence mental health. To conclude what we discussed on today's lecture, the biological model of mental illness emphasizes the role of the brain chemistry, its structure, and its genetics in the development of mental disorders. While treatments like medication have proven effective for many conditions, it is clear that a more holistic approach, including psychological and social factors, offer a more comprehensive understanding of mental health. Thank you for your attention. Now we're going to the fun part, class activity exercise. Now let's dive into hands-on activity that will help you better understand how the nervous system communicates. We'll be simulating the process of neuron transmissions in groups. Each of, we'll separate into 3 or 4 groups. Please do that. Each group member will play a specific role, from detecting sensory into the transmitting signals through the neurons and interpreting those signals into the brain. As you move through this exercise, pay close attention, please, to how information travels from one part of the nervous system to another, and think how disruption in these processes could affect mental health. This will help you to connect the biological foundation we have learned today to the real-world implication of mental health disorders. Once you have completed the simulation, we'll come back together again and discuss what you have learned about the nervous system's communication and how it relates to the mental health condition we have explored in this course. Of course, this active learning exercise allows you to better visualize and understand complex process of the nervous system, linking theory to practical, or while engaging with the material in fun and interactive way. Of course, it promotes teamwork and communication among you, helping you to collaborate to each other and grasp some key concepts. Okay, let's go.